Imagine walking into a dark room and your brain immediately decides you're about to be murdered by a coat rack. Congratulations, that's your ancient threat detection system doing its thing. You can thank your great 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 grandcave grandfather for this one. Back then, if you didn't assume that every rustle in the grass was a hungry predator, you became lunch. Today, the only thing stalking you is a suspiciously loud fridge. This constant background anxiety is your brain's better safe than sorry policy. The amygdala, your emotional smoke alarm, still operates like you're living in a savanna surrounded by things with sharp teeth. It doesn't care that your biggest modern predator is an unpaid bill or a notification from your boss. It just screams danger whenever something's uncertain. That's why your heart races when your phone rings unexpectedly, why you rehearse imaginary arguments in the shower, why you suddenly remember that one embarrassing moment from 2013 and feel like hiding in a cave. The amygdala can't tell the difference between social death and actual death. So the next time you're panicking over an awkward text, remember, you're not dramatic, you're evolutionarily consistent, you're just a prehistoric brain wearing Wi-Fi and deodorant, still trying to survive the wilderness of modern life. Basically, your nervous system still thinks the group chat is a pack of wolves. You know that weird thing your body does when you smell sour milk, or see a bug in your soup, or watch someone eat mayonnaise straight from the jar? That sudden, violent you that makes your stomach fold in on itself like origami? That's not drama, that's survival. The disgust reflex evolved to protect you from things that could kill you. Back when food poisoning wasn't a mild inconvenience but an actual death sentence, our ancestors learned very quickly to associate rotten smell with, "Don't put that in your mouth, you idiot." The fascinating part? Disgust doesn't just protect your stomach, it protects your social life. Studies show that people who feel disgust easily are often stricter about morality and cleanliness. Your brain basically uses the same circuit for "that meat smells off" as it does for "that person's behavior seems off." Because to your ancient brain, moral corruption and actual bacteria are in the same danger category. Both could infect the tribe. So yeah, your reaction to moldy bread and your outrage at someone cutting in line, same software, different bugs. Disgust kept your ancestors alive. Now it just keeps you from dating people who chew loudly. You're walking alone at night. You hear footsteps behind you. Instantly, your body locks up like someone hit the pause button. Your brain's like, quick, maybe if we don't move, the predator won't see us. Because apparently, we're all still pretending to be possums. That freeze reaction, the one that makes you feel paralyzed in scary or awkward moments, used to be extremely useful. When a saber-toothed cat was nearby, movement gave you away. Stillness meant survival. But now, you're just standing in front of your boss who asked if you can hop on a quick call, and your body is like, play dead, it's the only way. This reflex happens when the brain's fight or flight system hits both pedals at once. Adrenaline floods your system, but your brain decides that fight is a bad idea and flight isn't possible, so it just hits freeze. You're not weak, you're prehistoric. That's why people freeze up in arguments, public speaking, or horror movies. It's not a failure of courage, it's a 100,000-year-old safety mechanism trying to save your caveman self from being eaten. Basically, your nervous system still thinks standing completely still is the best strategy for dealing with corporate meetings and jump scares. You might think gossiping is petty or toxic, but evolution thinks it's genius. Gossip was the original social media, and the only one that didn't need a charger. In ancient tribes, knowing who cheated, lied, or slacked off was crucial for survival. If someone was stealing food or not pulling their hunting weight, that information spread faster than a rumor about aliens on TikTok. Gossip helped early humans enforce cooperation and punish freeloaders, all without formal laws or police. Your brain gets a dopamine hit when you share social info because it used to mean, I'm in the loop, I'm valuable to the tribe. That same circuit lights up today when you text your friend, okay, don't tell anyone, but you will both immediately tell someone else, of course. Ironically, the part of your brain that evolved to keep you socially stable now fuels influencer drama. And did you see what she posted? Energy. But the instinct is ancient. Without gossip, our ancestors would have been clueless, chaotic, and extinct. So yeah, next time you're spilling tea, just remember, you're not messy. You're practicing ancient social survival skills. You're an anthropological treasure. You're standing in front of a group of people, your hands are shaking, your mouth's gone dry, and your brain has left the building. Congratulations, you're experiencing the world's most socially acceptable panic attack. Public speaking fear isn't about microphones or PowerPoint slides, it's about being seen. And 100,000 years ago, being seen wasn't always a good thing. Back in the tribe days, if everyone's eyes were on you, it usually meant you'd messed up, like burned the meat, or got caught stealing mammoth jerky. Public scrutiny often led to exile or punishment, and exile? That was basically death by loneliness and wolves. So now, when you're giving a presentation, your brain still thinks you're one bad joke away from being banished to the tundra. The sympathetic nervous system kicks in, heart racing, palms sweating, voice cracking, as if the boardroom is a predator's den. It's not shyness, it's survival programming. You're trying to stay accepted by your tribe because social rejection used to mean actual extinction. Ironically, the better you perform, the more you get noticed, and the more your ancient brain freaks out. So next time you're nervous before speaking, just remember, your body's not overreacting. It's doing its best to stop you from becoming bear food, which frankly was a much more reasonable concern in 80,000 BC than in a quarterly sales meeting. Basically, you're not afraid of people, you're afraid of being publicly eaten by judgment. You know that thing where you overthink a handshake, forget how to stand like a normal person, or suddenly can't remember how smiling works? Yeah, that's your social calibration software glitching out. But it's not random, it's prehistoric social math. In small tribes, humans constantly monitored micro-interactions to figure out who was safe, trustworthy, or secretly plotting to steal your share of berries. Eye contact, tone, posture, everything mattered. Being off could make people distrust you, so your brain evolved to obsess over how others see you. Now, even though your tribe is your coworkers and mutuals on Instagram, your brain still thinks you need to perfectly manage your image to avoid exile. That's why you replay every conversation in your head like it's a crime scene. Did I laugh too loud? Did they think I was weird? Should I have said you too when they said happy birthday? It's exhausting, but it once kept you alive. Hyper-awareness of others' opinions helped maintain harmony in small groups. Today, it just makes you lie awake at night thinking about that one time you waved at someone who wasn't waving at you. So if you've ever walked away from a conversation and instantly wanted to hide under a rock, well, you're just being a socially evolved caveman. Your ancestors were reading body language for survival. You're doing it for small talk. Progress? You stub your toe. You scream at the furniture. You drop your phone and invent new swear words, that tiny, furious moment where you're irrationally angry at an inanimate object. That's your ancient aggression system misfiring. Anger used to be useful. It was your body's way of rallying energy to fight threats. It floods you with adrenaline, tightens your muscles, sharpens your focus, perfect for survival when facing a rival tribe member or a charging animal. But now, you get the same surge of prehistoric rage because your charger fell behind the couch. Your brain doesn't care about context, it just detects frustration, its obstacle, and hits the gas pedal. Modern problems don't need a battle cry, but evolution didn't get the memo. The crazy part? Anger isn't always bad. It evolved to signal dominance, motivate action, and protect your resources. The problem is that now, our resources are things like Wi-Fi, parking spots, and personal space in a crowded Starbucks. So when you're raging at slow internet or traffic lights, you're not immature. You're channeling the ancient fury of a hunter who just missed a spear throw. Your ancestors fought for food. You fight for the last slice of pizza. Evolution's still running the same game, just with worse graphics. Basically, your temper is a museum exhibit of primitive problem solving. Humans are social junkies. We crave belonging like oxygen, caffeine, or validation on the internet. It's not weakness, it's ancient wiring. In tribal life, survival wasn't about being strong alone. It was about being part of a group. A lone human was basically a snack for predators. Cooperation meant safety, warmth, and food. So evolution built a system that rewards connection with dopamine and punishes rejection with emotional pain. Literally, physical pain. Studies show that social rejection activates the same brain areas as actual injury. That's why being ghosted feels like being punched, just more humiliating. Our ancestors needed this system to keep the tribe together. Today, it keeps us scrolling, liking, and posting. When someone ignores your text, your brain interprets it as social death. Oh no, it says, the tribe has left without me. Then your cortisol spikes like you're about to starve in the tundra. The instinct to belong made civilization possible, but now it means we tie our self-worth to follow accounts and group chats. Evolution upgraded our tool, but never the software. So the next time you check your phone for the 47th time, just remember, you're not addicted to validation. You're evolution's favorite social experiment gone digital. Basically, you're a tribal animal in Wi-Fi clothing. Ah yes, procrastination. The noble art of staring at a task, then doing literally anything else. You're not lazy. You're just evolutionarily optimized for short-term survival and long-term guilt. See, your brain evolved in a world where immediate rewards mattered more than future ones. If you were a hunter-gatherer, later wasn't a thing. You didn't store your effort for a project due next week. You stored energy for when food was available today. Tomorrow wasn't guaranteed. You either acted now to survive or you conserved energy. That's why your brain gives you zero dopamine for working on taxes and a full parade for eating something right now. The prefrontal cortex, the logical part that plans ahead, is a relatively new upgrade. Meanwhile, the limbic system, your emotional, impulsive survival brain, has been running the show for hundreds of thousands of years. It's like pairing ancient cave software with a brand new operating system. Sometimes they just don't sync. So when you delay work until the last possible second, your brain isn't malfunctioning. It's waiting for a threat level high enough to justify action. That's why deadlines work. Fear, stress, and panic finally convince your inner caveman that this task is life or death. Basically, procrastination is your brain's way of saying, let's pretend this isn't important until it's on fire. You ever wake up at 3 a.m. for no reason, heart pounding, brain already thinking about unpaid bills and childhood embarrassment? That's your ancient survival alarm clock, and it's still stuck in caveman mode. Back in prehistoric times, early morning hours were prime danger time. Predators hunted in the dark, and tribal humans took turns keeping watch. Our brains learned to be extra alert during the night's quiet moments. Waking up suddenly to check for danger was a feature, not a bug. Now, that same system wakes you up to check the existential danger of being behind on work emails. Your cortisol levels naturally spike around dawn, prepping your body for potential threats. Unfortunately, the only predator most of us face before sunrise is an alarm tone that sounds like emotional trauma. This is why you can't just go back to sleep after a stress dream. Your body's on full alert, ready to fight a lion that doesn't exist, except it kind of does. The modern lion is just anxiety in a suit, armed with spreadsheets and deadlines. So when you wake up in a cold sweat, staring at the ceiling like a Neolithic philosopher, remember, your body thinks it's protecting you. It's trying to keep you alive in a world that's already evolved past its instincts. Basically, your brain is the world's worst security guard, always on duty, always panicking, and never aware that the lions left 10,000 years ago.